I am honored to stand before you today, not as a man of perfection, but as a voice of purpose. I come not to echo the noise of the world, but to speak a truth that still burns in the hearts of those who dare to dream. I have a dream, yes, I have a dream, not born from luxury or comfort, but from struggle, from pain, from a fire that refuses to go out. I have a dream that even when the night is long and the way is dark, we will rise with a strength not from our muscles, but from our spirit. I have a dream that those who feel forgotten will be remembered, that those who are broken will be rebuilt, and that those who have fallen will rise again, not because the world handed them mercy, but because they reached deep into the well of hope and pulled out something the world could not take away. I have a dream that this generation, your generation, my generation, will refuse to be defined by fear, by doubt, by failure. I have a dream that we will walk through storms with our heads held high, not because we are unshaken, but because we know the storm cannot last forever. I have a dream that no pain, no past, no poverty can silence the purpose inside us, because within every human soul there is something greater than circumstance. There is something deeper than the scars life may leave behind. Too often we are told that our background, our burdens, or our brokenness will determine our boundaries, that what we've endured disqualifies us from what we were destined to become. But I say to you today, with the fire of every dreamer before us, that our purpose is not built on the approval of others, nor is it destroyed by the trials we've walked through. Our purpose is forged in the moments we survive what was meant to break us, when we rise with tears in our eyes and faith in our chest, refusing to give up on what we know we were born to do. There are those who come from nothing, who have been handed only struggle and silence, and yet they speak with the authority of hope, with a conviction that cannot be taught in comfort. I have seen the power of those who have been through the fire and still choose to love, to lead, to lift others up when no one lifted them. I have seen the strength of a soul that has wrestled with despair and still chooses to dream. That is not weakness, that is not luck, that is purpose rising from the ashes of pain, louder than fear, louder than lack. Our past may be marked by moments we wish we could erase, mistakes, regrets, disappointments, but I believe those moments do not define who we are. They refine us. The pain we feel is not a wall. It's a window into the strength we carry. The poverty of our beginnings does not limit the power of our future. There are people who have been buried by expectation, crushed by rejection, dismissed by society, and yet they stand. They speak, they dream, and in doing so, they shake the very systems that once tried to silence them. Purpose is not a privilege. It is a right born into every living soul. It is not reserved for the perfect, the wealthy, or the comfortable. It belongs to the broken, the weary, the determined. It belongs to the child growing up in the shadows, the mother working 3 jobs to feed her family, the young man walking through grief with nothing but courage in his chest. Purpose cannot be stolen by statistics or swallowed by sorrow. It does not bend to the winds of hardship. It burns through them like wildfire. I have a dream that the world will stop measuring potential by possessions and start recognizing the priceless fire within each person who dares to rise. Because pain may visit, but it will never have the final word. Poverty may shout, but it cannot drown the whisper of destiny. The past may try to chain us, but purpose breaks every link. There is something in us that is stronger than where we've been, stronger than what we've lost, and stronger than the lies we've believed. I have a dream that broken hearts will beat stronger, not in spite of the pain, but because of it. There is something sacred about the soul that has been shattered and still dares to love again. Something powerful about the person who's been betrayed, abandoned, forgotten, and yet chooses to stand up, to keep moving, to believe that joy is still possible. Too often we are taught to hide our wounds, to wear strength like a mask, to pretend we are fine when the truth is we're not. But I say today, the broken are not weak, they are warriors. The ones who have been through the most are often the ones who give the most. Because when a heart has been cracked wide open, light can pour through it, and that light can change the world. There are people walking among us with invisible scars, scars that came from sleepless nights, from silent tears, from carrying burdens no one else could see. And yet they show up, they smile, they help, they heal, they become the very thing they once needed. That kind of strength cannot be faked. That kind of resilience is not found in comfort, but in the darkest nights, when no one is watching, when hope feels like a distant whisper, and yet something inside says, keep going. The strongest hearts are not the ones that have never been broken, but the ones that have broken and mended over and over again, each time becoming more tender, more open, more fierce in their love. We live in a world that tries to numb pain, to silence grief, to rush healing. But what if the brokenness is not the end? What if it is the beginning of something deeper, something more real? What if the cracks in our lives are not signs of failure, but proof that we have lived, that we have loved, that we have cared enough to hurt? The broken-hearted understand what it means to feel deeply. They understand how fragile life can be, and in that understanding they carry a wisdom, a kindness, a fire that can ignite hope in others. The heart that has been broken knows how to listen without judgment, how to sit in silence with someone else's pain, how to offer compassion not out of obligation, but from experience. That heart becomes a light in the darkness for someone else. That heart becomes a bridge between despair and possibility, and while the world may see their scars as weakness, I see them as sacred stories written in flesh and spirit, testimonies of battles fought and survived. There is no shame in the breaking, there is strength in the healing, because every time a broken heart chooses to love again, it rewrites the story of what it means to be human. It proves that pain does not end purpose, that sorrow does not swallow joy, and that no matter how shattered we may feel, the pieces still matter, the pieces still carry worth, the pieces can still become something beautiful. I have a dream that every setback is just the soil where comebacks grow, because life was never meant to be a straight road of success. It was meant to be a journey filled with turns, with falls, with moments that seem to break us just before they build us into something stronger. Setbacks are not signs that we've failed forever. They are the universe's way of whispering, you are not done yet. Every time we are pushed back, delayed, or denied, it is not the end of our story. It is the tension before the breakthrough, the struggle before the strength, the quiet before the roar. The greatest victories are not born in ease, but in adversity. Think of the moments when everything felt like it was falling apart, when nothing went according to plan, when all you had left was a choice to either give up or rise anyway. And somehow, even when everything was against you, you found a way. You found a flicker of faith. You found a reason to try again. That is not weakness. That is power. That is resilience woven into the fabric of your being. Comebacks are not about perfection. They are about the courage to keep showing up even when no one's clapping, the grit to keep pushing forward even when your legs are shaking, the hope to believe that your future is not defined by your worst moment. Every setback is a lesson disguised as a loss. It humbles us, sharpens us, prepares us. It shows us what matters. It forces us to let go of what no longer serves us and reach deeper into who we really are. When we fall, we find out who we are, and when we get back up, we tell the world who we've become. It's in those valleys that champions are made, not on the mountaintops, because it's easy to smile when everything's going right. But it takes real strength to rise when everything has gone wrong. The world honors the result, but true greatness is forged in the process. The messy, painful, silent process of refusing to give up. There are people right now who think they're stuck, who think it's too late, who believe the door has closed for good. But I say, the setback is not your sentence. It's your stage. It's the dirt from which your dreams will bloom. Every rejection can become redirection. Every failure can become the fire that fuels you. The enemy of progress is not failure. It is fear, and once you stop fearing the fall, you'll start trusting the climb. You'll realize that the delay was not denial, but divine alignment, that the pain was not punishment, but preparation, and that nothing meant to destroy you can stop you when you believe that your comeback is still being written. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to move at anyone else's pace. All you need is the faith to take one more step, to breathe in the present moment, and to believe that even here, even now, something good can still grow from everything that tried to bury you. I have a dream that the forgotten will become the foundation of the future, because history is not only written by those in power, it is shaped by the quiet strength of those the world tried to overlook. The single mothers raising generations with nothing but love and grit. The janitors who sweep the halls of progress while being treated like shadows. The children growing up in silence, watching the world from the corners, learning how to dream without permission. These are the ones who carry greatness in their bones. These are the souls who know how to build, how to survive, how to turn nothing into something. And one day, the same voices that were once ignored will become the voices the world cannot live without. There is something sacred in being overlooked, because when you are forgotten, you learn how to build your own belief. You learn how to survive without applause. You learn how to lead from the ground up, to walk with humility, to speak with fire forged in rejection. The forgotten are often the ones who have learned not to seek validation from others, but to create it from within. They are the quiet builders, the silent warriors, the ones who keep giving, keep loving, keep working even when no one notices. And one day, what they've been building in the dark will rise and shine so brightly that it cannot be ignored. It is easy to celebrate the ones already at the top, but the future is being shaped by those still in the shadows. The teacher who stays after school to help the child everyone gave up on. The immigrant working 3 jobs to build a life in a language they are still learning. The dreamers whose ideas are still scribbled on napkins, waiting for their moment. The ones who have faced every obstacle, every dismissal, every door slammed in their face, and still choose to believe that they matter. These are not the forgotten. They are the future architects of hope. Their struggle is their strength, their silence is their preparation, their pain is their blueprint for building something no one else could imagine. The world may try to measure worth by titles and fame, by how loud your voice is or how high your name climbs. But I believe the foundation of the future will not be built by the loudest. It will be built by the most faithful, by those who stayed when it was hard, by those who showed up when no one said thank you, by those who carried dreams in their hearts even when the world gave them no stage to stand on. And when that future comes, it will not be because power allowed it. It will be because the forgotten refused to forget who they were. It will be because they built something unshakable, not on praise or privilege, but on resilience, on sacrifice, on purpose too deep to be denied. I have a dream that the power of love will defeat the fear that divides us. Because fear has built walls between hearts, between communities, between nations, and those walls have kept us from seeing each other for who we truly are. Fear tells us to protect instead of connect, to guard instead of give, to judge before we understand. But love, real, courageous, radical love, tears those walls down brick by brick. Love says we are more alike than different. Love sees beyond skin, beyond background, beyond belief, and reaches for the soul. It does not ask, "Where are you from?" before offering kindness. It does not ask, "Do you agree with me?" before opening its arms. It simply chooses to care, and in caring it heals. We have seen what fear can do. We have seen it twist truth into hate, turn neighbors into enemies, turn pain into division. Fear wants us to shrink, to isolate, to protect only ourselves. But I believe in something stronger. I believe in a love that looks at a broken world and says, "I will not turn away." A love that refuses to be quiet in the face of injustice, that steps in when others step back, that offers hope when hope seems impossible. This kind of love is not soft. It is steel wrapped in compassion. It is fierce and forgiving. It is the kind of love that can change minds, change hearts, and change history. The world does not need more fear. It needs more people willing to choose love even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when it would be easier to walk away. Love is not passive, it's active. It feeds the hungry, it defends the weak, it listens to the unheard, and it stands up for the voiceless. It reaches across the aisle, across the border, across the barriers of culture, politics, and pride, and says, "We belong to each other." That kind of love is a revolution. That kind of love is what changes the atmosphere of a room, the direction of a life, the course of a generation. Fear divides because it is built on the lie that we are alone. Love unites because it reminds us we are connected. Every person carries a story. Every person holds a wound. And when we love, truly love, we begin to see that what unites us is greater than what separates us. We begin to choose mercy over judgment, empathy over indifference, understanding over assumption, and in doing so, we disarm the fear that has held us hostage for too long. It is not weakness to lead with love. It is the greatest strength a human being can have. To choose love in a world of fear is to stand for something greater than ourselves. To choose love is to believe that peace is not just possible, but worth fighting for. Not with fists, but with open hands. Not with weapons, but with words that heal. Not with anger, but with action rooted in grace. I have a dream that we will rise. Not someday, but starting today. Because too many people are waiting for perfect conditions, waiting for permission, waiting for the pain to pass before they move. But the truth is, the power to rise is not found in the absence of struggle. It's found in the middle of it. We don't rise when it's easy. We rise when we decide that the weight of staying down is heavier than the fear of getting up. We rise when we stop looking around for approval and start looking within for purpose. The world has told us to wait our turn, to stay small, to be realistic. But I believe the time to rise is not on the calendar. It's in our choice, our mindset, our fire to say, "Enough waiting, I am ready now." The climb may be steep, the journey may be long, but nothing changes until someone dares to rise. Rise above the labels that tried to limit us. Rise above the voices that said we couldn't. Rise above the failures that whispered we're not enough. Every rise begins with a refusal to let yesterday define tomorrow, a refusal to let fear keep driving the story, a refusal to sit back while the dreams inside us beg to be born. And when we rise, we give others permission to rise too. Our courage becomes their blueprint. Our steps become their path. We are not meant to stay in the shadows of our doubts. We are not made to be buried under expectations that were never ours. We are made to rise with the kind of strength that surprises even ourselves. The kind of strength that says, I may not have all the answers, but I have enough belief to begin. The kind of strength that shows up when life gives no applause, when no one is watching, when the world sees only the fall, but we feel the pull to rise anyway. That's the moment it begins, not with perfection, but with persistence. There is something unshakable in the human spirit when it chooses to rise. No matter how deep the wound, how long the delay, how hard the fall, the will to rise is still there, sometimes quiet, sometimes trembling, but never gone. It waits for us to notice it, to feed it, to trust it again. And when we do, when we say, I may be broken, but I am not done, the ground shifts, the air changes, the world sees what it had forgotten, that within every soul is the fire to rise and rewrite the narrative. We will rise not just for ourselves, but for every soul watching from the edge, wondering if they can do the same. We will rise for the ones who were told to sit down, for the ones who lost their voice, for the ones who were counted out. And as we rise, we carry with us a message louder than fear, brighter than doubt, stronger than the storm, that rising is not a dream for someday, it is a decision for today.